Sharp Game here, back with another video coming at you from chooseyourrelationships.com. And today I'm going to talk about the biggest problems with marriage. And you know, if you look at the television, you would think that the biggest problem with marriage is the lack of money. And nothing could be further from the truth. And with marriage, you have a lot of moving parts. You have two merging families, and you have, if you decide to have your own children, you have your own children. Then you have distant cousins, and you have, if you have, your woman might have friends and people at the job and people at the church. So you have a lot of people whispering in her ears, telling her about a lot of different ideas and things she should be doing. And if you're with a woman that's a drifter, it's gonna be like a pinball machine with her. She's gonna be bouncing back and forth. You know, y'all might have a conversation about something, and then as soon as she get a phone call, she's gone, and she'll come back acting distant or acting like what y'all talked about, she forgot about it. She completely threw it out of the window. That's a drifter. Now, a non-drifter is a thinker, somebody that pretty much can think for themselves, don't get influenced by others very easily, and they don't follow trends, they invent trends. And this happens because you have to compete against the propaganda machine. This is why it's so hard to stay on the same page with people, because most people are weak-minded. They're easily influenced because the television is the most powerful weapon that's ever been invented. And it runs 24 hours a day. You got magazines, television, you got social media, you got billboards, you got banners, you got the propaganda machine is everywhere. You go in your grocery store, you got magazines on the shelf, and if your woman doesn't understand this, how propaganda works, or if she doesn't understand that it even exists, you're gonna have a lot of problems, and the relationship is probably gonna be unhealthy and maybe even toxic to be around. And a lot of people they get overwhelmed because there's too many people involved. So see, I was under the assumption that once I got married to my wife, I would just have to deal with her. But no, you have to deal with other people, because let's face it, most people aren't really living their own lives. They're being influenced by other people, their friends, family, and all these other people. And a lot of these people are losers. But it's hard to explain to people that these people are losers. They look at everybody in the best light. You know, I look at people for who they really are once I get to know them. I don't see them how I wish they would be. I take them, it is what it is. You know, if that's who they represent, fine. I don't have a problem with it. But a lot of women have a hard time with this. And a lot of women, they fail to understand what marriage is all about. Marriage is a business. Marriage is not about how you feel and how your parents would like things to be. And no, marriage is a business. If you don't treat marriage like a business, you're probably going to get a divorce. If you don't treat marriage like a business, or if you get married just because of love itself or love only, it's probably not going to last. And a lot of people I don't think they really have the mental capacity to really handle the moving parts, because most of these women aren't like your grandmother or your great grandmother. depending on how old you are. It's like if your grandmother is, say, 70 or above, most women you meet today aren't built like that. So this is why I say most women aren't super women anymore. They aren't big mama anymore. They can't really handle what comes with marriage. They don't understand it. And a lot of them just, I think, just straight up just don't care. They don't really care about family. And a lot of women don't like sharing almost anything, especially money, because money is their power. Money, if she gives you her money, she feels like she's giving her power away to you. So if she gives you some of her money, she feels like she's investing into you. So just be aware of that. And a lot of these women are control freaks, because a lot of my friends that got married within the past 20 years, I haven't seen them much. These women, they want to isolate the guys and have him confused or semi-dumb and kind of don't know what's going on, and she want to take away his freedom so she can have more freedom. And I just really don't understand what's that really all about. You know, it seems like the only time the woman of one of my friends really like when I'm around is if it's a benefit to her. If it's not a benefit to her, I get this kind of I would say I get this kind of, I would say it's kind of like a feeling that I'm not wanted, which is okay, because I don't have to live with her. He does. So to each his own. So these are just some of the things you have to really think about. But what I would say is if you want things to get better, you have to deal with things the way it really is, not the way you want it to be. And if you have enough respect for yourself, you would just face reality. And you're going to have to make some tough decisions, because you have to surround yourself with the best quality people that you can. At least you should anyway, because you become the people that you spend most of the time with. And you're only as strong as the people that you surround yourself with. So if your wife is bringing people around you that you wouldn't necessarily want to hang around or be around, that's a problem. Because if she's hanging around with those types of people, that's gonna kind of like, I mean, if they're in your household or in your space, that's a problem, because it's gonna rub off on you. It doesn't really matter how strong of a person you are. So this is something that's very critical to your success in marriage. And it's probably best, if you don't get it corrected, it's best for you to move on, because a lot of people just aren't ready. A lot of people are just average people. They're not really ready to take things to the next level. I mean, most people just like to follow what most people did before them, whether it's their parents or their grandparents, and they're not really trying to do anything different. They're just average people that like to follow their friends and family. And you're basically, if you with somebody that's not a thinker, someone that's just like to follow what everyone else is doing, you're going to grow apart. Because if you're a thinker and she's a drifter, well, it's going to be like a pinball machine, the relationship. Y'all gonna go back and forth until one day something happens tragic. Hopefully not. That's how it usually happens. And it's gonna be like a point where it's like, hey, we're gonna either stay together or go our separate ways. And then most of the time, I've heard stories like this. Most of the time, most women will say, once that fear kicks in, they'll say, okay, no, let's just work things out. And then what happens a lot of times, they'll be on the same page for a while. Everything will be going good for a while. Then shortly after that, she'll drift off again. Because a lot of times what happens is the parents, mostly the mother or the friends, will say something, and then she'll get all excited and she'll be gone, and then she'll come back home and you be looking like, what's going on? And she'll be acting like she'll have a nonchalant attitude, like, well, what are you talking about? And then she'll manipulate you and act like you're the problem. And this is what's going to happen if you stay in a relationship with somebody that's a drifter, because you have non-drifters and drifters. And you want to be a non-drifter. You want to be able to control your life and not let anyone else manipulate and control what you're trying to do and what you're trying to build. And you want to be able to pass down your legacy and have kids with a woman that's not easily manipulated, that can stand on her own if something was to ever happen to you. And it's in your best interest as a man to see things as it is, not the way you want it to be. And the only way to make any massive change in your life is to do so. And if you don't, you're setting yourself up for failure. And it's going to be very difficult for you to succeed at anything if you don't have the right people around you. Because you're only as strong as the people that you have around you. And you want to be known as a winner. And you want to surround yourself around winners. And a lot of people aren't ready. They're just around for the season, but they're not around for the journey. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, Sharp Game is out.